Tell you what's more powerful than hunger, being fucking knackered. Yes, geezers, Bobby back with yet another video. I am just here in the gym, 5 o'clock in the morning. You can see over my shoulder there, but it looks like there's a beautiful sunrise going on over at the beach. But I never go to the beach to watch it. I should go and enjoy that beach, do a bit of morning meditation, but instead I'm in here pounding the weights because that is meditation to me. Now, today's video, I've got this loyal subscriber. She's called Rachel. Hello, Rachel. She asked me to make a video on hunger management. That's what we're going to do right now, and I hope this little bit of advice helps. Now, first of all, a couple of mindset things, and then I'm going to give you 2 pieces of actionable advice. So, mindset-wise, hunger. It is a sign that you are making changes. Unfortunately, it is just part of the weight loss process, so we have to deal with it. However, I know me saying that doesn't make it easier. It's not like suddenly like, oh,
it's okay then, it's normal.
It is normal, but know that your body being hungry is a sign that it is adapting, that it realizes something that is changing, and eventually it is going to have to change in order to survive. Piece of mindset advice number 2. When I was younger, when I was about 18, 19 years old, I clearly had like decent genetics, a decent frame on me. And I used to have all sorts of people coming up to me in the gym, probably looking at me as potential protege. And they used to give me all sorts of advice. Some of it just went in one ear, out of the other. Some of it really stuck. A piece of advice that really stuck with me, and I don't know if this is technically true or not. I said to me, ex-professional bodybuilder called Howard, feel hungry now, but don't worry. Eventually your stomach is gonna shrink, it's gonna get smaller. That is what weight loss is. And that really stuck with me, because if you think of someone that's chronically obese, their stomach has expanded so much to accommodate that excessive food that they are taking on board. Their stomach must have expanded, otherwise it would just be saggy naturally. That's why often when people go through cases of dramatic weight loss, they often have that saggy skin. It's because their stomach has expanded so much that it's going to take time for it to adapt. Maybe it's never going to adapt at all in that case. So if you're in a situation where you're looking to lose weight, that's great. Just know that the hunger is going to be normal for now, but eventually your mind and your body is going to start thinking, you know what? We're not getting as much food to survive here, so we don't need as much space here. That time, everything's going to start shrinking a little bit, and then eventually, if you imagine, if your stomach is half the size, it's going to take half of the food to fill up. But that's a bit literal, but you understand the point of what I'm saying. Mindset aside, because it's easy for someone else to just say like, it's normal, get on with it. What can you do right now to make life a little bit easier? Well, the first thing we can do is what I call reverse programming. I've just said hunger is part and parcel of the package when it comes to weight loss. However, let's be honest, hunger strikes at different times of the day. Usually, we don't feel that hungry, or let's say uncomfortably hungry, early in the morning, in the afternoon, especially if we're at work, if we're busy, if we're occupied. Usually the hunger strikes at nighttime, and that's when we're most vulnerable, because usually that's when we've got nothing else to distract us. What we're going to do by reverse programming is figure out your macros, you're going to figure out your calories, but you're immediately going to take 200 calories off that, and that is going to be your late night snack. Now I want you to choose something healthy, some Greek yogurt, a little bit of fruit, add some protein in there. But at nighttime, when that hunger strikes, we're going to want to manage that. So instead of creating your nutrition plan along the lines of the first meal of the day is this, the second meal, the third meal, and then eventually it gets to nighttime and you've used all your calories and there's no room for maneuvering. You're going to go backwards. You're going to go, you know what? Late night snack is this. My dinner is this. Now those 2 meals, or the snack and the meal, that's what's going to control that hunger at nighttime. So put your priority there. Suffer earlier in the day, because I assume you're going to be at work. I assume you're going to be busy. So use that as your distraction to keep you on track. If you're working and you're hungry at, let's say, 10 o'clock and lunch is 11:30, you just got to suffer through that time. It's going to be easier to suffer through that period of the day when you've got stuff to do, meetings, whatever it is that you're doing, to get through that hour and a half knowing that that meal is coming, than it is to get through the entire night when you're supposed to be going to sleep, but your mind is just bothering you, telling, go to the fridge and get yourself a snack. And the second piece of actionable advice I can give you is this, and this one is the game changer. Again, working under the assumption that we're going to feel hungry throughout the day. We're going to be suffering the most at nighttime. You want to start waking up earlier. Start your day earlier. Think of it like this. Everyone's got different situations, everyone's got different schedules, everyone's got different scenarios, but let's just go with a 9 to 5. Usually for a 9 to 5, let's say you wake up at 7, you have a coffee, breakfast, etc. You go to work 9 o'clock. Let's say you get back at 6 o'clock. That's the danger period. You're going to have your dinner 6:30, 7 o'clock, and then from that time onwards, you're fucked. That is when, unless you're in complete control, unless you're completely disciplined, that is the time you're going to suffer, because all of that good work that you put in throughout the day, all of that discipline, that can all be undone in one trip to the fridge. What I'm suggesting is wake up an hour earlier, have a coffee, go for a walk, do a little bit of stretching, do a little bit of meditation, read a book. That way, once you've reprogrammed your body clock, once you get in from work at night, you're not going to be sat around as long as you used to be. Now, my worst period of binging was when I was working till about 4 or 5 o'clock, and then I was taking pre-workout, which is an excessive amount of caffeine, at about 5, 6 o'clock. I was up until 12 o'clock every night. Got home, had my dinner, everything's fine and dandy. Then at about 10 o'clock, I've still got that caffeine in my system, which was definitely a mistake. But I'm going to be awake for another hour, 2 hours. That's when I started to suffer, because I was bored, because I was unoccupied, because I wasn't doing anything. So I'm sat there watching TV, wasting time, and suddenly my mind starts thinking, you know what? Fancy a snack. You know what? Fancy a little bit of sugar, a little summit. You go to the shop, buy a snack. Oh, I'll just have a couple of these biscuits. Suddenly you've eaten the whole pack and you've undone all the good work that you've done throughout the day. Let's flip that. Wake up an hour earlier. You get home, let's say, same time. You have dinner, say, same time. But suddenly your body's getting tireder because you've been awake since an earlier time. That way, you go to sleep at like 9 o'clock instead of 10 or 11 o'clock. It might sound a little bit boring, but what do you really accomplish and what do you really do later on at night? Tell you what's more powerful than hunger: being fucking knackered. Now, I was training at 4 o'clock in the morning for a long time, and it wasn't optimal, to be honest. I'm not suggesting that you do that, but because I was waking up so early, my body was ready to hit the sack at about 9 o'clock. I had my dinner, I had a piece of fruit afterwards, because that's just the way I am. I always want a little bit of something sweet, and for me that's fruit. Piece of fruit afterwards, and you know what? I never had any desire, never had any hunger later than that. I would get to that point, I'd sit down, watch something on the TV, maybe a little bit of research, do a little bit of reading, and then suddenly I'm like, it's bedtime. Go to bed, 9 o'clock, doze off, not binge, you've stayed within your calorie allowance, and you've smashed your goals for that day. That's going to take some getting used to, and it might not work for everyone, but remember, if you want to change your entire body, you can't really compartmentalize things. Is that the word? You get what I'm saying? You can't say, right, this aspect of my life is dedicated to fitness, this aspect is dedicated to my social, this aspect is dedicated to all the food I want to consume, the drinking I want to do. It has to all be one big process, and if you can't get to that stage, everything is going to become more difficult. So I say, Monday to Friday, your regular working week, give that a big overhaul. First of all, enjoy your weekends for the time being. Once you start to see the results, trust me, everything will become easier. It'll be easier to resist the temptations at weekend. Yeah, still go out for your friend's birthday, but it'll be easier to avoid those weekend binging sessions, those weekend drinking sessions that honestly we don't need to do all the time. So there you have it, guys. 2 methods. Number 1, reverse programming. Start programming your macros, your calories, however approach you want to take. Start programming that in reverse from your last meal of the day onwards. It'll become much easier to manage. And number 2, if you can, manipulate your daily schedule. Wake up earlier. Continue to be focused. Continue to be disciplined throughout the day. Go to sleep earlier, less distracted at night time. Like the video if you found it helpful. Rachel, hope this has been helpful for you particularly. Thank you for supporting me. For everyone else, subscribe to the channel if you want to be like Rachel too. Imagine me talking about you. Imagine a big shot on YouTube. Over 1,000 subscribers mentioning your name. That dream can come true. Have a good day, guys. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.